One Zambia, One Nation, and thanks for joining us on ZANIS News. Top stories in the news tonight. Stakeholders in mining sector urge to collaborate for enhanced economic development. Government operationalizes livestock laboratory in Joma district. Chipata trades students on government bursary in financial arrears. Plus, government committed to support all sports disciplines. ZANIS News in detail. President Hakainde Hichilema has called for collaboration between the local people and the foreign investors in order to grow the mining sector. President Hichilema, who officiated at the groundbreaking ceremony of the Mimbula copper mine in Chingola, said mutual understanding between the investors and the local people is important for the development of the country's mining sector. Tovin Ngombe reports from the Copperbelt province.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has employed Zambians to embrace the attitude of hard work to improve their livelihood. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony of Mimbula Minerals Resource Open Pit Mine in Chingola, the president notes that it is only through hard work that the country's economy will grow. He observed that the Mimbula Minerals Resource Project is a test of what hard work can do.
Mimbula can generate dollars, the higher the chances of the exchange rate stabilizing. So let's encourage this investment. Workers, whatever the issue is on the table, let's not go in the streets. Let's sit on the table. Tulanshanye wino. Okay, Ishitachiri wino. Okay, wait. Okay, no fight. Oh, Ishitachiri wino. Tachiri wino. Okay, Torastashana. Okay, Tuishtas. Oh, okay. Have you seen that point? Yeah. Okay, we'll meet in the middle. Going in the streets is disorderly. Setting fire on the plant. The message to investors, they've heard. You can't run this asset without workers. These must feel that truly they own this asset and they'll look after it.
Mimbula Copper Mine Chief Executive Officer described it as a world-class mine.
We commissioned the first phase of our development of the Mimbula mine at 10,000 tonnes of copper cathode capacity. We've commenced an expansion of an agitated leach plant here at Mimbula to take our copper cathode capacity to 56,000 tonnes. We are exploring for more resources to continue our expansion of copper production capacity in Zambia. We're finalising our permits in Kalengwa to install a plant to commence production this year. We're drilling constantly at Kalengwa with the purpose to rapidly establish another mine, and we intend to develop quickly at Kalengwa, just as we've done here at Mimbula, and we already have 350 employees.
The High Commissioner to Zambia is happy that more capital has been injected into the mine.
As a trade envoy to Zambia, the mine had just received $73 million injection from UK firm Moxico Resources to build the new facilities and breathe new life into a mine which, to all intents and purposes, hadn't operated effectively for decades. The pits were filled with water, but Mimbula's new Zambian workforce were filled with a desire to transform the site.
Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kauswe, rebuked the erring license holders for minerals.
A warning, anybody with a license who wants to be fighting in court, this government is saying, and I'm saying this with authority from His Excellency the President, that we will not allow you to speculate with your licenses, we will not allow you to do illegal things, to take your license and speculate in court. This government wants action. This government wants mines to be operating so that you, the Zambian people, can be employed. You, the contractors, can supply. You, the suppliers, can bring goods to the mine, and the economy begins to run.
The opening of the Mimbula Minerals Resource Open Pit Mine is the beginning of the better days on the Copperbelt province. Tovin Ngombe, ZANIS Chingola.
Now, Minister of Justice Mlambo Haimbe says Zambia's co-hosting of the second Summit for the Democracy, scheduled for March 29th to 30th, 2023, will yield huge benefits for the country's democratic space. Mr. Haimbe notes that the summit aims to, among other things, promote constitutionalism and the rule of law. Lakson Makoza has more in this report.
Minister of Justice Mlambo Haimbe says it is pleasing that Zambia has been selected among nations to advance the rule of law and good governance through the co-hosting of the Second Summit for Democracy, which is dubbed for 29th to 30th March 2023. Mr. Haimbe disclosed during a special program on ZANIS TV that Zambia was chosen to co-host the Second Summit for Democracy, following the strides the country has made in upholding democratic tenets.
Zambia was chosen on the basis, amongst others, of the progress that we have made, peaceful transition of power over several decades, over a couple of decades, shall I put it. The fact that now under the New Dawn government and the leadership, shall I say the able leadership of His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, the entrenching of the key tenets of democracy in the manner in which we relate as a nation, in the manner in which the affairs of the country are governed.
And Mr. Haimbe says over 700 delegates are expected to attend the 2 days event. The minister has since implored citizens to use the event to showcase how peaceful and welcoming Zambians are.
Show what we are as Zambians, that friendly nation of people who are willing to warmly receive our guests. As you know, from the countries that we've talked about, we'll be having guests from all over. Our tourism, of course, is equally going to benefit. There's a lot of local tourism that can be done. We have a new wonderful international conference center and various facilities in the city. Let's welcome our guests. Let's encourage them to mingle with us.
Meanwhile, a youth organization has welcomed the co-hosting of the Second Summit for Democracy with a call to youths to fully participate during the event.
Zambia hosting the Summit for Democracy Summit, that in itself, presents so many opportunities to many young people. It presents an opportunity for young people to add their voices as regards the kind of democracy they envision. It presents an opportunity to young people to add their voices as regards the kind of political framework they want to see.
For ZANIS, I'm Lakson Makoza.
And also in the news, the Department of Veterinary Services in Mufumbwe District in Northwestern Province has announced the reoccurrence of the contagious bovine pleuropneumonia in the southern part of the district. The viral respiratory disease has so far claimed 9 cattle from the area. Here is a report.
The Department of Veterinary Services in Mufumbwe has recorded 9 suspected cases of contagious bovine pleuropneumonia, CBPP, in Miruji Ward, southern part of the district. The outbreak of CBPP in Mufumbwe was first recorded in July 2022 within the western part of the district, including Kalambo, Kamauta, and Matushi wards, during which government had to intervene through vaccinations, among other measures. After a spot check on the current situation in Miruji Ward, Mufumbwe District Veterinary Officer Dr. Asen Tembo told ZANIS in an interview that investigations on the affected cattle have revealed signs which are consistent with CBPP.
The investigations that were done, both the postmortem signs as well as the antemortem signs were consistent with contagious bovine pleuropneumonia. This is the disease that the district has. It's actually endemic now because the first case of this was reported in July last year, 2022, and it was a confirmed case. Therefore, the government had intervened through vaccination of animals. Initially, this disease was only confined along the M80 road camp. So we didn't have any cases in this part of the district, and so from our finding, it has been established that it was because of the animals that had strayed from Kauma district.
One of the affected farmers, Kalema Kashoka, explains how the unfortunate development happened as a Miruji Ward councillor, Fred Mkelevai, applauds the veterinary department for their quick response.
Tukubone bukalezi kwakako mukalika mukamulika naluna yolulisanga amo ngika kula kulanga totaka komukaka kulali kama ninge wakatabanga ma 20%. Konoka komu kabona unachola inya na nyine ngika zama konuko fulaka fuli hande. Mafelezo ni yaka emu seto yaka kwa tini. Seto kula kwa otolanga dunda kutabanga ma 20%. Hakuna. Seto aluzibisoboka nseera butukuvu obukeniwo.
We thank them that they have gotten the samples from here, and then we still look forward actually for their coming back to give the vaccination.
For ZANIS in Mufumbwe district, I'm Glad Ongoma.
Thank you, Gladwell, for that report. Now, in Southern Province, government has operationalized the livestock laboratory in Joma district in order to control and manage livestock disease surveillance. Provincial Senior Laboratory Researcher Christopher CMS says the lab has been equipped with machinery to test for African swine fever, East Coast fever, lumpy skin disease, bovine respiratory disease, rabies, and foot and mouth disease, among other livestock diseases. Gift Vanji has the rest of the details.
Accessible and affordable animal health services is key in livestock management and disease control. This is why government is determined to equip the Southern Province Veterinary Laboratory with the necessary tools.
In the past, the lab would refer these samples, such as for FMD, for African swine fever, for East Coast fever, and for foot and mouth disease. We will refer these samples to Lusaka. But with the equipment of the laboratory here, we are now able to handle these samples within Choma. As a lab, we attend to all categories of farmers you can think of, as long as they bring us the sample which has been paid for.
Both commercial and small-scale livestock farmers are serviced here by qualified personnel.
So now this Eco Milk analyzer, and it analyzes the components of milk, such as fats, proteins, non-solid fats.
It takes approximately 5 to 6 days. It all works very smoothly. We're very happy with the services.
Gift Banji, ZANIS, in Choma District, Southern Province.
You are watching ZANIS News from Mass Media Complex. Livestock farmers in Jongwe District have called for a reduction in animal feed prices, saying they are failing to afford enough purchase to give their animals. The farmers say the high cost of the animal feed has resulted to low production of food supply in the district due to animals being malnourished. Sheila Makosa has the details.
The high cost of animal feed has continued to affect livestock farmers in rural parts of the country, such as Chongwe District, as most of them cannot afford to buy the food supplements for their animals. This has led to some animals being malnourished and producing low-quality food products. The National Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, in partnership with the National Food and Nutrition Commission, has stepped in to train farmers on how to make animal feed using locally available resources. Andela Kangwa, a nutritionist at FAO, highlights the benefits of training farmers in animal feed formulation.
It's now our baby to ensure that this information that we have doesn't just end with us. I noticed that there was a lot of engagement, which is really good. We really wanted to know how is this done. Some beneficiaries would be given the chickens or indeed even I think fish, and they say the feed is expensive and all that. So this is why we said, okay, let's put a component of feed formulation as well as the hydroponics, which I think everybody can do.
And Lusaka Provincial Nutrition Support Coordinator Fanwa Okabila emphasized the need for livestock farmers to provide nutritious feed for their animals to produce good quality food products.
We are trying to get the best out of our animals, which we are rearing. Normally we rear, for instance, the birds, which is chicken, we rear it either for eggs or for the table meat. So for us to have a quality egg and quality meat from this bird, it needs proper nutrition. So it's all starting from the animal's nutrition. So once it's properly fed and it has grown to the standard, it means that we'll easily access these foodstuffs within our villages where we stay.
Farmers benefiting from the trainings thanked the two organizations for providing alternative solutions to address the challenge of the high cost of animal feed.
The introduction of our own feed formulation, it means that the production of livestock it will be self-sufficient. We'll be able to live within our means. We are going to be sustainable. We are being empowered. So we really appreciate for this gesture. I think it has come at the right time when the prices of feed has gone up. I'm sure this will help us at least to enhance better production of livestock.
Sheila Makosa for ZANIS in Chongwe District.
President Hakainde Hichilema has pledged to work with traditional leaders across the country to foster development. The president, who met chiefs from the Copper Belt, appreciated the role that the chiefs play in bringing development closer to the people. And speaking on behalf of the chiefs, Chief Nkambo of the Lamba people thanked government for considering to upgrade the Lusaka-Ndola highway to a dual carriage way. Karen Mushenyo now reports.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has assured traditional leaders that his administration would not discriminate against any chiefs. The head of state was speaking in Luanshya district when he met chiefs from the Copperbelt province. Mr. Hichilema urged the traditional leaders to freely participate in development as they are the closest to the people.
We also want to make it clear, since the media is not here, that ours is to work with you, not against you. Ours is to take your advice. Ours is to hear special circumstances that someone amongst yourself may be facing. Ours is to take care of your welfare. You can take care of yourselves, but there are areas where the government, your government, must come in to improve the welfare of. I'm not going into detail, the detail we discuss on our own, but the welfare.
The chiefs thanked the president for taking time to visit them.
Signing ceremony to do with the dual carriageway, Lusaka and Ndola. And we are really very excited for Mammoth and the people. And what makes that project so special, to put it in a layman's language, is that it will be done from nothing. From nothing. And that anything that is created from nothing is a miracle. It's a miracle.
Earlier, President Hichilema thanked the people of Luanshya district for their contribution in ushering him into office.
On the 12th of August, even when I was not allowed to campaign here, but in Luanshya, you believed in change, and you voted for our councillors, you voted for these MPs, you voted for the mayor. We have a mayor here in Luanshya. Amid this Umulopa, Kupumwa, Ruguli, Matiekas, one day we were in the office, our office there. It was war. They are Lincoln. Remember with all that, Avena Luanshya, 12th August, you went to vote and you voted for us, you voted for me, who was called names. Atawe Chechanga Chechalo. So Apanish Chechalo. Nale Pushame, Pushama Rishiva Market of Bashite Fialo.
Karen Mushenyo, ZANIS, Luanshya District.
In Muchinga Province, the residents of Mafinga District have appealed to government to connect the region to the national electricity grid. The residents have complained that electricity supply from Malawi is unstable, saying that the power outages usually last up to 5 days or more. Geoffrey Ngambi, a businessman of Tendere, has described the last power outage that has dragged on for 9 days as a business setback. Mr. Ngambi laments that his business and many others have been negatively affected. And Mafinga District Commissioner Boyd Kawanga said his office has engaged officials from ZESCO Limited to come up with a lasting solution to the power challenges in the district. Meanwhile, Muchinga Province ZESCO Regional Manager Bridget Sianteka says the situation is regrettable, adding that the corporation is looking into the matter. We move on to Eastern Province. Authorities at the Chipata Trades Training Institute are concerned that students enrolled at the institute under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) education bursary have not remitted their learning fees. Management at the facility has disclosed that no funding has been received from the local authorities in the province to cater for the students' food and accommodation. Details in this report by Lubasim Tafela.
While government has been disbursing the Constituent Development Fund (CDF) across the country, the absorption capacity of some local authorities continues to raise concern. In Eastern Province, authorities at Chipata Trade Training Institute have just revealed that nearly all the students enrolled here under the CDF skill development component have not been paid for by the sponsoring local authorities.
The challenge we have is that like this year, no money has been released towards CDF, but we can towards the school fees, but we cannot say let's the students report until we receive the money. The students are already here.
But what is the implication of this situation?
Who reported this year, the 503, we quoted them that they should also be paid for food supplements. Because last year, what we realized, there were a lot of students who were put on CDF sponsorship, but most of them didn't come. Others came, but backed out just after the first term. The complaint which all of them had was they couldn't find money to feed themselves. So this year we tried to do things differently. We quoted even for food supplement, but that also has proved to be a challenge because we haven't received any money from CDF.
The beneficiary students at the Chipata Trade Training Institute remain grateful to government for the support.
Program ya CDF kuti chitako empower ikiwana school pano popali pano nankana access yo punzira vambiri pano chifukwa chakuti na punzirako mapunziro amene.
Basim Tafela for ZANIS in Chipata District.
The Mwansabombwe Town Council has begun distributing desks to various schools in the district under the 2022 Constituency Development Fund. 110 desks have so far been distributed to Mwatachi Konkole, Chipata, Tribal, Mumbulo, and Kakoloto Primary School. Speaking during the distribution exercise, Acting Council Secretary Matthews Mlenga reiterated the local authorities' commitment to expeditiously implement the CDF projects. He further revealed that the council has engaged 13 other local suppliers to provide the remaining over 1,000 desks. The District Education Standards Officer, Kantu Chiwe, expressed delight that finally the schools that have been operating without desks have started receiving the desk. He said this will add to the quality delivery of education to the learners. We move to Central Province. Chief Yamuga of Chisamba District has proposed an enhanced advocacy strategy against early marriages, speaking during an engagement with his subjects. The traditional leader made an appeal to non-government organizations to set up offices in rural areas in order to ensure that the welfare of the girl child is enhanced. Details in this report.
Keeping girl children in school is hampered by poverty, cultural practices, pregnancies and early marriages, including HIV and AIDS. It is for this reason that Chief Chamka of the Lenje-speaking people of Chisamba District has called for an enhanced advocacy strategy against early marriages.
I'm proposing that there must be development of an enhanced advocacy strategy. So I would like to see a situation where other NGOs that are they are supposed to be zoned. Not Lelo, not Quadra Environment Africa, but Valera child marriage. Then tomorrow the same way to Quadra Plan International, Valera and child marriage. Then you come to Quadra National Legal Aid, and then Valera and child marriage in the same area. How about these other areas?
Our chiefdom uses multi-sectoral approach in its cultural transformation agenda, whose main goal is to end all harmful cultural practices, child marriages, among others, by the year 2030.
And the provincial administration in Central Province is keen to fight early marriages.
Fully remains committed to ending child marriages in this country. This can be seen by the commitment from the President, who is the African Union Continental Champion for ending child marriage. On behalf of the Zambian government, we are grateful to Environmental Africa Zambia for supplementing government efforts in ensuring that children are protected from vices that affect their well-being.
Environment Africa, a civil society organization, says it is promoting the right to education and reducing harmful practices against children.
I am happy to report that we have so far managed to reach out to more than 3,000 girls and boys in clubs, school clubs, through trainings in child rights, sexual reproductive health education and rights, life skills, case management, and other capacity building trainings conducted to promote collaboration with the parents and the teachers' committees. Environment Africa, with support from Internet Youth Luxembourg, has been implementing a project titled Promoting the Rights to Education and Reducing Harmful Practices for All Children, especially vulnerable girls in Chibombo, Chisamba, and Kabwe districts.
An enhanced advocacy strategy will surely help reduce harmful practices that affect children. Kelvin Tembo for ZANIS in Kabwe, Central Province.
Thank you, Kelvin, for that report. Now, in sports news, Monza Central Member of Parliament, Jack Mwimbu, has empowered youths in his constituency by sponsoring 12 sports tournaments. This is an effort to help the youths grow their sporting talent at local level before going off to play at bigger tournaments. Let's take a look.
Sports activities are not only cardinal for one's mental and physical well-being, but equally help to keep youths away from bad vices. Monza Central Member of Parliament, Jack Mwimbu, shares this opinion through his continued support to various sports disciplines in his constituency.
The way you have behaved yourself, the way you have played these games, shows that actually you are very disciplined. A disciplined cadre of youth has a future. You know that sports in this country now has a future. A number of our players are playing outside the country, and they start from the way you are starting, especially for the ladies. The ladies now are coming on board as players who are playing internationally. Please keep it up. We are sponsoring 12 tournaments in this constituency. The prize money for each game that is being played is 6,000 kwacha, and there are 12 watts. When you multiply 6 by 12, that is 60,000 kwacha, which we are spending to ensure that our people, our youths, also participate in games. The games build the image of the youth. And apart from the prize money, we have been providing jerseys, soccer balls.
Mr. Mwimbu, who is also Home Affairs and Internal Security Minister, also encouraged youths to apply for empowerment funds to venture into businesses.
Encouraging you to apply through CDF, to apply through CCC for projects which can enhance your lives.
It is conceivable the country can claim top place in the world of sports if all leaders join government in supporting sports disciplines, especially in rural areas. Frederick Macha for ZANIS News in Monza District, Southern Province.
Ministry of Youth and Sports Permanent Secretary Kangwa Chileshe says government remains committed to supporting all major sports disciplines in the country. He says any sport federation that requires funding or support from the ministry is required to write a letter to the National Sports Council, which submits to the ministry. Mr. Chileshe says Mr. Chileshe was reacting to the failure by the National Boxing Women's Team to participate at the International Boxing Association World Elite Women's Boxing Championship, slated for March 14 to 26th, 2023, due to lack of funds. Last week, the National Paralympics team also missed the World Para Athletics Grand Prix, which took place in Marrakesh, Morocco, due to the same reason. Mr. Chileshe said that he is only aware of the Zambian youths with intellectual disabilities taking part in a tournament to be held in Berlin in Germany, who have reached out to the ministry for support. As we end the news, a look at the top stories once again. Stakeholders in mining sector urge to collaborate for enhanced economic development. Government operationalizes livestock laboratory in Joma district. Chipato trades students on government bursary in financial arrears. Plus, government committed to support all sports disciplines. Well, we've come to the end of ZANIS News. On behalf of the entire ZANIS production team, my name is Juliet Mtele Singh. Bye-bye.